Okay, let's look at how gold is progressing. So something unique just happened. We managed to break above this area here, which was one of the critical zones that we have. I was expecting to see a bit of a reaction from here, maybe to push to retest the previous month high, since we broke that, but it seems like we won't be seeing that. And if we look at the monthly time frame, there is something that I'm in love with now. This just shows that we are gonna target the high of June. Okay, and then if we manage to break the high of June, then we might find ourselves all the way above 4,850 again. Okay, and then once we hit here, I guess that's when we are gonna start to see a bit of a correction to come and retest the high of June before we continue up. Okay, but enough about that. Let's go on the daily time frame, and then you will see what is so fascinating about this. So we can see this break of structure here, and then we can see this point here. So this is what actually the market did. You can see this was the Thursday candlestick, which was bullish, then it closes bearish as a doji, which a lot of people might have been thrown off here, but I knew that since we're heading for the NFP, there were high chances of us continuing buying. Okay, so looking at this formation now, and then how we are breaking the moment we close above here. Okay, this just tells you that we have what is called a bullish displacement. Okay, in which it has failed here. We couldn't get a bullish displacement, so this candle was gonna be a bit it was gonna be a bit hectic for a lot of people to just get buys there. Okay, it wasn't easy for a lot of people to jump on buys in time, but looking at how we traded here, you can see how we came and retest this pivot point here, and then how we are going for that breakout. Okay, so this is what's gonna simplify this week or make this week trading easier. We ride the tide, we don't trade against the tide. So now we know that the tide is bullish. We know that on the bigger time frame the bias is bullish. The market is printing everything, screaming anything that says bullish. Okay, which means that our focus is not gonna shift. We are just gonna focus on buys. Okay, small sales are gonna be there, which are gonna be part of consolidations, which are gonna present themselves, but they are not gonna hold. Okay, you can see ever since we created the low of June, we haven't come below that area, which means that the whole month of July we were just consolidating on the range which was created by the month of June. Okay, so now that's the high of June. We have taken out the high of July, which is here. This is the previous month high. This was the high of July. We've taken it out, which means that now, because we have a clear break here, I've been waiting for a break. The area that I've been watching was 4,375, which was a bit inside here. I have been watching this area to go for a break. So now, because we got our break, I'm gonna be watching for a retest right around there before we continue buying tomorrow. Okay, in which if we go to our 4 hours time frame, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so this area here, on the coming day, we are gonna be watching exactly inside this area here for more buys. Okay, if we are gonna be taking more buys on gold, this is the zone that we are gonna be watching. Okay, that's the zone that we are gonna be watching here. It was once a resistance, now it's turning into a support. Okay, so we can see, so this resistance here, it has been a resistance for long. It has been stopping the market ever since the break. Okay, so like I said, if you look at back here, you can see we came and have a nice break, and then we go for a retest, which was just on the zone there. We went down, and then we created this low. We came back for a retest around there before we dip and crash to create June's low. You can see we kind of swept a bit of a liquidity there, but then we failed to close above, which still stand as a retest, and then we see the market crashing there after breaking this structure here and retesting it. The market just continued dumping to the downside. Okay, so we are gonna be looking at this key point here as a zone in which we are gonna be looking to take more buys of it. Okay, so we are heading to 4,400, which means that if we are heading to 4,400, what I am foreseeing for this week, we are more likely to get this momentum. You see this momentum like this, we are more likely to get a momentum like this being printed all the way up here to get us all the way above. You understand? That's what we are gonna be focusing on. That's what I'm foreseeing for this week. Okay, that's the only thing that I see coming. That's the only thing that I know that is gonna happen if we just stay focused. Okay, so if you look at your weekly time frame, you will understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. Okay, this was the previous week's print, and then we have created a bit of a low on this week, which means that what we are gonna be looking for, any dip, okay, any form of a retracement going on a sell, look at the nearby zone, the closest zone that is gonna act as a support, either internally. Take on just take your trades on that, take your buys on those areas, look for buys on those areas, and then we're gonna be targeting this high here, which is June's high. Okay, so we are gonna be going for around 4,550. Okay, that's what we are gonna be targeting. So whenever you are about to engage on a trade, just remember now, since we ended up getting our break around this area, we need a retest during the opening. Okay, so that's what we want to be buying right around there. The moment we get that retest, that's when we gonna have more confidence to say we are buying. And every time you see a consolidation, look for the nearest zone and then continue adding buying until we get all the way up to that area there, because that's what we are going to be targeting on gold this week. For us to be able to print that price that I'm showing you, that this is what we might be going for, because if we look at, since we broke above this 4 hours moving average here, and then the only time we came and start consolidating, which was here, let's see how this price is gonna look like if we put it there. So you can see, if we go for a retest there and then we continue buying, we are more likely to get more volatility to the upside. This is where I believe that we might see more buyers stepping in and then continue buying. Okay, but for us to see those things happening, we need to close above there. We need to end our day above there. Then we are gonna have a bullish displacement, and when we have a bullish displacement, we have continuous moves to the upside. You know, this was the only area that I was waiting for to get my buys. Okay, it was either we were gonna trade, take out this low here and come and retest here, which means that all the imbalance here were gonna be filled, then we can take buys going to the upside from this low. Okay, still targeting that area, or we could wait for the market to take out this high, retest on it, and then we get our buys off that point there. So we're gonna be looking for our buys off that point, and then we are gonna be targeting this high here. Nothing much. Those are the things that we are gonna be watching. Those are the things that we are gonna be targeting, or we are gonna try to encounter for going on tomorrow's trades. Okay, so we are just gonna be watching that. So if we go deep on the 1 hour time frame, you can see from this support here, this was today's low that we created. We went up to the resistance, we failed to break first, we came back and tested the same support again, and this is where everything was given from, and then you could see the trades taking off there. Okay, which means that this is the thing that we are going to be looking forward into now, which means that the only thing that we are going to be focused on now, we need to see a retest around that area there. Any retest which is going to be happening inside this area, that's what we are going to be looking for. Okay, so as for tonight, what we want to see, we want to see gold playing all the way around 4,395, 4,405, and then close around there. We don't want gold to close back below. If gold closed below 4,375, we still have a problem, because that won't count as a breakout, and we are looking for breakouts here for us to be able to buy the coming day. We have to get a breakout. If we don't get a breakout, then we cannot go on and say we are just gonna be looking for buys, because that will just tell us that we failed to get a bullish displacement, which means that the worst case scenario is that we might fail to continue, and then we find ourselves reclaiming this resistance again and then retesting on it and then dump again. So if that doesn't happen, and then we hold our position above the zone to turn the resistance into a support, then we are going to be looking for continuous buy on gold. We are going to focus more on buys on gold. Okay, which can only mean that the only thing that we are going to be waiting for now here are going to be candlestick confluences. Okay, or all the confluences, the confirmation that we want to see what the candlesticks are saying. Are we still on the zone? when we measure the Fibonacci, what are we getting from the Fibonacci? We are going to be watching all those things. Those are the only things that we are going to have to be concerned about. You can see how things played out here, okay? Even though we look at the smaller time frame here, you can see we went for a break and then a retest of that structure there before we continue up. So even though this won't conclude that break, there's still a high possibility that we might dip back inside, which means that the dip that might happen, these are the only areas that we are going to be watching. You see this highlighted area here, we are going to be watching this area for more continuous moves, okay? So you could see the day shifted here when we take out this 5 minutes moving average here, because you see we broke it here, it acted as a resistant, and then once it's a resistant again, we take out the low, it came back and retest on the support, today's support. The moment we break above it there, it was given that the market will continue pushing up. But then what we are waiting for, because the market was on the mid of the zone, in between the zone, we don't trade in between the zone, we wait for the market to break and give us a retest on the structure. So this is where we are going to be watching, okay? This is where we are going to be watching. So come tomorrow's opening, when the market opens, what we are going to be looking for, we need any push which is going to come to the downside, and then things like these candlestick patterns, we are going to focus on them on smaller time frames, like 15 minutes, 5 minutes, all the way down to 3 minutes time frame, okay? The 3 minutes time frame is the last one that I can look into regarding those kind of movements, okay? So once that's done, we know that this is the area that we are going to be looking for to get our continuous buys from, okay? So now let's look at the DXY to see if the DXY is going to be giving the same response that we want to see, okay? So the DXY was bullish. The DXY was bullish today the way that I expected it to be. I did suggest that the DXY was going to be bullish today. Let's go down on the 4 hours. As you can see, this is what I foresee on the DXY, that we might go up on the DXY looking for this area which was once a support which turned into a resistance, and once we tap there, we might see ourselves pushing to the downside from there, okay? But it will depend. It's not just gonna be easy for us to find ourselves going all the way up there. We still have this area here. There's still a high possibility that the moment we get to this liquidity here, we might bounce off this area and find ourselves continuing to the downside. Still, we might still find ourselves continuing down to the downside, and then if we can still continue down to the downside, then we're gonna know that gold will continue surging to the high to the upside, which means that the price of gold is just gonna continue up. We saw the same thing with the yields here, okay? We saw the same thing with the yields. They are playing around that area, okay? So last week what I said about the yields was that there's a high possibility of them retesting all the way up here, or just on the order block, and then we push down, and then we see that this only played out during the NFP. We tapped there, and then we push down, and then what we are still gonna be waiting for here is still unseen, but I believe that we can still dive down from there and then continue down, okay? So those are the things that we are gonna be paying a close attention to when it comes to gold. But however, how gold moved or how gold traded today, I cannot complain as long as it holds above this area here. I just don't want it trading below this area here or closing below this area. I want gold to hold above here. If it holds above here, then we know that we have a good shot on continuing buying gold from there. So I hope this will help. I hope this will make it easier for you to approach gold, or to know how we are gonna be engaging with gold, okay? So mostly I'm gonna be watching just 4,375, and then you have my stop loss. If they are way too low, I'm gonna be looking at 4,345 or 350, okay? And then we are gonna target 4,450. That's what we are gonna be going for, okay? That's it.